Right. Let's get this done and dust it quickly. Oh. What's going on? Am I seeing things or is the sea frozen? We'd better investigate, but don't get too close, just in case. There's ice here too. Perfect for chilling my sake, but a little too chilly for the spine. And I don't think a drink's going to make this go away. Let's push on. This is crazy. It's like being up on a mountain. Surely it's not. No, it can't be. What was that? Could it be what's causing all this? Forget the materials. We need to find out what the thing was. It cannot be. Azizo! Look out! Sorry. I lost it. You took it down, did you? Impressive as always, Chief. Let's get back to town. There's something I need to tell you. Oh, you're back. Right. Do you have time to talk? I owe you an apology for doing my own thing back there. I just couldn't afford to let the Rasetsu get away. The Deathstalker and I have quite a history. What I want to know is what it's doing on the island. Its territory should be a long way northwest from here, around Otsuki Castle, Governor Ishido's old stronghold. Not that anyone calls it by the name anymore. Not now it's surrounded by snow. You hear it called Fuyufusagi Fort now. It's too much for my brain. How about paying the sensei a visit?
What's the matter with you two? You both look very grave.
Well, it's a long story, but...
What a fascinating development! Arasetsu has covered the Summery Spirit Isle in ice, you say? Oh, yes. This warrants a detailed investigation. It's quite an unusual phenomenon indeed. You would never normally expect ice kimono to appear somewhere with such a disparate climate to their usual habitat.
Maybe not, but that's what's happened. It looks like hell's frozen over there. Quite literally.
Kimono are like humans. They avoid inhospitable areas. They naturally accumulate in areas that are favorable to their existence. Now, imagine the prevailing climate on the Spirit Isle. Would you expect an ice and snow kimono to choose such a sultry location? At the very least, wouldn't it be drawn to the more moderate temperatures along the Harugasumi Way?
This Deathstalker is powerful enough not to care. You remember Otsuki Castle, the seat of Governor Ishido, don't you, Sensei? It was magnificent. Blossoming flowers all around, life everywhere. Now they call it the Frozen Fort.
True. It's a shadow of its former self these days. The kimono brought blizzards and ice to the whole area. I think there's a correlation between the failing of Minato's karakuri years ago and the increasingly violent kimono activity since across Azuma. The fate of the Great Bear may be relevant too. I hear the area where it once slumbered happily is now a barren wasteland. The natural environment in these parts would appear to be undergoing some sort of rapid transformation.
That sounds plausible. Or not. I'm no scientist. So, what's our move, Sensei?
Well, we can't afford some protracted observation of kimono behavior now. No, we need to focus on this wolf. If my hypothesis is correct, I'd expect to see a physiological change in its gut. In any part of its body that absorbs celestial thread, in fact.
Right. So I guess it comes down to you again. Looks like the only way. I don't know how much we'll learn, but I do know we can't afford to ignore the threat he poses to Minato. So you bring it down, and the sensei will do her thing. That's the plan.
There is one problem we need to address first. The kimono's primary habitat is around Fuyusagi Fort. But I hear the cavern that leads there collapsed during the Earthbreaker's advance. So, we'll need to clear the way before we can proceed. See if Ren and her crew can help with that.
That should come from you. She owed you a favor or two, doesn't she?
You're not getting away without helping, Michishige. You know the way to the old castle better than anyone. You can be on guide duty.
Well, I'm not really feeling it at the moment, so you'll have to make your way alone. I need some space. The Tsuruhashi clan have a good name. They won't shun at it. I haven't been properly introduced yet, though. You'd better be the one to ask.
The last war in these parts was a trip. Which item has caught your eye? Dear Hunter, have you heard the unfortunate news? Of the corpse found along the Blossom Trail. They have identified the poor soul at last. A fine young farming fellow. Such a waste. It was a customer of mine who happened upon the tragedy on his way to Minato via the Harvest Canyon. And now he comes under suspicion. There is no doubt in my mind that this is the work of Kemono. Yet not all appear to agree.
Because it's hogwash. Dansuke wasn't killed by any kemono.
Welcome back. Is my account really so hard to believe?
It makes no sense. Dansuke had some of the fastest legs in town. There's no way he would have let a kemono get him. Besides, I happen to know he got into a fight with someone from your store the day before he disappeared. If you ask me, you lot did him in, and then tried to make it look like the work of a kemono. It's a kind offer, but there's no point. There's always outsiders in the Crimson Treasury. They can't be trusted.
You see what dreadful ill will befalls me? Could you possibly investigate the matter? A hunter's eye is what we need to see if this really was the work of Kemono or not. Or so say the skeptical few.
Waste of time. I'm sure these snakes will have covered their tracks. But go on. Be my guest.
I leave it in your ever-capable hands.
You need the path through the cavern cleared. Sure, we could take care of that. But we'll need some help from you. At least find out what I'm asking first. Actually, Togahime made the same request. She said it wasn't urgent, but asked us to tackle it if we had time. We've made some progress already, but at nightfall, there was a fume beak attack. Some of my crew came off worse for wear. I was just about to report we couldn't continue work when you came along. So if you can get rid of the Great Crow, we can get rid of the obstruction. Deal? Head to where my crew have been working. That's where the Kemono will show up. It's a fierce one. Go fully prepared. straight back to work. We'll meet up with you there. I had a feeling you'd make short work of that, so I took a gamble and got my crew ready. This won't take long. Just wait there. Oosh. We need a break. Don't want to work ourselves too hard. Can't afford any slip-ups. All right, crew. Down tools. Have some water and rest for a minute. As you can probably tell, most of the Tsuruhashi carpenters weren't born here in Hinomoto. I myself come from the city of Stone, far in the west. And my crew, I mostly met as I traveled here across the Great Range and the Golden Peninsula. As such, we boast some tools and techniques you don't normally find here. That earned us good favor in the capital. But they're fighting now about who'll become the Shogun's heir. There'll be war, I promise you. All over this land. So we decided we'd leave to avoid getting mixed up in it. Togahime's invitation was very timely. What about you? Why are you in Minato? With your skills, you'd find work anywhere. No work and no food to be had anywhere. Yep, that's the same for us carpenters too. Right, well, we better get back to it. We'll try not to hold you up much longer. There, all done. Although, I do not know where this path leads. That old drunk was familiar with this region, no? Why don't you go back to town and pick his brains? We just need to clear up here.
I've developed... I'm not sure that... Oh, right?
So, is the wait? Are you heading off to Fuyufusagi Fort now? Then you're gonna have to put up with some company, I'm afraid. Why do you look so surprised? Otsuki Castle was my home. No one else knows the lay of the land up there better than me. Any kimono are your domain, though. And I can't deny I'll slow you down, but that's tough luck. I know the risks, but it's unavoidable. I have to do this. I wouldn't normally put my foot down, but I'm going with you whatever you say, so get used to it.
I'm no expert on building karakurishi. Was there any? See you later then.
Not the most auspicious start, is it? Running into a snowstorm? We'll shelter here until the worst is over. This place brings back memories too. I might as well tell you, I suppose. Years ago, I was living at the castle we are headed for as a hired hand. The daimyo was called Ishido Ujitsuna-sama. The Do in my family name Daidoji, and the Uji in my first name were both given to me by the daimyo. The Ishido clan were the Shugo governors of Azuma at the time. But the Ago clan, Shugo representatives in the western provinces, rebelled against the Ishido clan. The cursed tale trying to wag the dog. In the aftermath of the battle that ensued, the castle was attacked by Kemono. I don't know if it was happenstance or planned by the Ago clan. Either way, the entire Ishido clan was wiped out overnight. And I have a suspicion it's the same Kemono. The Deathstalker we saw on the Spirit Isle. If it is, he needs to die. Agreed? You say all the right things. But a word of warning. That wolf is stronger than any other kemono in these parts. I know from bitter experience. Out of all the kemono I fought around the castle, that one was something else. Just don't get yourself killed. Hear the howl? It came from over by the castle. We'll split up and track it down. If I find it first, I'll holler. I'll take the ground. Well, quite a coincidence. All thanks to the kid. It was a giant ice tusk that led the attack. It charged straight at the castle and split the keep clean in two. And it's been in this sorry state ever since. woman.
My master had a rare sense of death. He would often say that you were merely lieutenants on their land. And look what the wolves did to him in return. Sounds like a cold rubber bag. Those things
That's it then. Stirred up some memories I'd sooner forget. Mazila. Oh, the bird? What now? I don't know what this is, and I don't want to. Let's go. The so-called Bird of Auspice? What the hell's it doing here? Beats me. But one thing's for sure. That was the wolf that killed my master. Finally! I've avenged their deaths. Or rather, you have for me. This useless body of mine is good for nothing now. But this I had to see through. I thank you. Sorry. I was remembering those who were lost. This is no place to linger. We should get back to Minato. Then let's go. The sensei will be getting impatient. Oh, and this was... Never mind. Arigato, Chief.
Ah, there you are. Tell me how it went. I must say, I'm glad to see you both back safe. Did you successfully dispatch the Rasetsu?
Well, we nearly came unstuck, but luckily we had some help from on high. Not that I was any use in the battle. Anyway, Chief, don't keep the lady waiting.
Ah, arigato. I realized this was a matter of retribution for you, Ujishige. But nevertheless, a life is a life. I take full responsibility. And this specimen will not go to waste. I will need time to carry out tests, however. I won't be able to tell you anything before morning.
Sounds like my work is done then. So I'll be taking my leave of you for now. I'm in the mood for drinking. A lot. And alone.
Welcome back. Do you have a... I heard about you defeating the Deathstalker. I'm sure that will be a great burden lifted for Ujishige-san. He used to have a lot of wild and violent episodes, you know? When I was little,
I remember him getting blind drunk and throwing himself into the sea. The poor fishermen had to cast their nets and haul him out. And that was just one of many similar incidents. I think he lives with the constant pain of losing his samurai master and other companions. But what you've done may have eased that a little. I don't suppose he'll say much about it, but I'm sure he's very grateful to you. Oh, by the way, it seems the spirit wheel, Minato's symbolic centerpiece, was originally one of a pair of karakuri. I discovered that when we were on the Spirit Isle before. There were fragments of a stone tablet there that showed another tower, a lot like the wheel, with the corpses of Kemono around its base. That was my first thought too. But Minato was abandoned for a while. So my best guess is that it fell into disrepair during that time. And only the spirit wheel was left, as a relic of the pair. You probably already know that the spirit wheel is the karakuri that distributes celestial thread all over town. This other tower seems to have been used to accumulate thread for powering other large devices. A complement to the wheel in a way. And since it was shown with Kemono corpses around it, I'm wondering if it was some kind of weapon. Even though so much of our heritage has been lost, there are still lots of things our forefathers left behind for us in Minato. It's clear that karakuri were all around them, a part of their everyday lives. My hope is that one day we can restore Minato to the way it was. I'm not sure that anyone has been... Whew, I think... Just tell me what you need. Metalwork is...
I've made some progress with my research. Come. Sorry to keep you on tenterhooks, but I finished my examination of the Rasetsu now. As I'd predicted, a paltry amount of celestial thread remains in the Deathstalker's system. Far less than I would normally expect to see. It must have been struggling to absorb thread for quite some time, which probably explains its appearance on the Spirit Isle. It was trying to satisfy its hunger.
But why there? It's hardly the easiest place to get to. Why not head for the canyon first?
Yes, we can only conclude there must be some reason why it chose the island. The question is, what reason? Perhaps it was routed by a stronger kemono, for example?
Bakana! There's no other kemono that could have threatened that thing.
Well, nevertheless, it's clear that this Rasetsu was fighting for its life, searching desperately for celestial thread, which should ordinarily be abundant in these parts. Just as humans have fought over land and resources since the dawn of time, kemono try to gain supremacy over those around them in order to survive. It's the providence of nature. Yes, most probably. The kimono have been peaceful for years, but now they're starting to push violently into new territory. An alarming trend.
So, it won't stop with a wolf and the bear? Other kimono will follow, you mean? Surely not Amaterasu, though. The bird of auspice is a different beast.
Let us revert our attention back to the Rasetsu, and the attack on it by Amaterasu at the Frozen Fort. The after effects of that conflict may already be starting to show, in disturbances in the weather or surrounding flora, for example. I hope my fears are unfounded, but Minato could conceivably be affected, so I wonder if you'd revisit the castle and look around? Consider it a hunting request, if you will.
Nandayo. We escaped moral danger only to be told to turn around and march straight back into it? Well, sounds like we got our orders, Chief. Let's just hope we don't run into any more of those wolves.
Ah, good. Just the person I was hoping to see. Yes, there's a kimono I'd like you to hunt. It should yield some materials that young Yataro will find very useful. He wasn't born here in Minato, you know? Poor child, lost his home and his family to war. He was left all alone. But somehow, he found his way to us. I tell you, he's got a natural gift for making things happen. Better than any of us. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, of course. Yataro was grumbling that he didn't have the materials he needed. So, Hunter, you go and hunt the kimono. And when the job is done, just have a little whisper in my ear. If the boy found out, he'd tell me I was sticking my nose in where it wasn't wanted.
Wait, doesn't the forest look strange to you over there? That must be what the sensei was talking about. I'll look around and see if anything else looks unusual. Shout if you run into trouble. Excellent work. But look at this place. Clouds of spring blossoms here in the snowy peaks. That was an unusually powerful boar. Must have left the old Blossom Trail and crossed the snowy mountains to get here. And he would have to be tough to make that journey. But how could one King Tusk be so different from another? And why is it so hot here? There shouldn't be flowers blooming in the snow like this. We should get back and report to the sensei.
Can you hear me? Either of you. If you can hear, then answer.
Natsume? Dosa? Are you in trouble?
A huge kimono. Here in Minato. Express your hand. It's the...
Oi! Natsume! What's going on? What huge kimono? We need to get back to town fast. I've got a very bad feeling about this. The bird of auspice? Attacking? It's just another kimono in the end. Not to be trusted. First things first, let's make sure everyone's safe. What a damn mess!
No!
Ujishige-san! Thank the spirits you're back safe. The town is... it's too awful. But we have to tend to the wounded. Can you see what you can do? We need help. All the help we can get. Arigatou gozaimasu. The last of the fires have finally been put out. It was the bird of auspice. Amaterasu attacked us. She destroyed people's homes. Tried to kill people even. We did our best to defend ourselves, but it was so sudden. The hunters had their hands full just trying to get people to refuge. Karakuri all over Minato are in ruins. Even the spirit wheel.
The situation is dire on the seaward side of town. Every residence lies in ruin.
We were powerless to do anything. All we could do was run for cover. It was pitiful. The bird of... well, Amaterasu has flown over the town in the past. But she's never shown any sign of attacking before. We never felt that we were in any danger from her. I suppose we were reassured by that. We felt secure, but we'd been lulled into a false sense of security.
Kimono are oblivious to the feelings of humans. Large kimono, the Great Bear and Amaterasu, for example, see humans like ants. A nuisance easily brushed aside. But we treat kimono as they treat us. If they are a nuisance, we too strive to eliminate them. What in times of peace you call the bird of auspice, in times of war, you will simply call the enemy.
You're so right.
What is lost is lost. We must turn our faces from the past and gaze into the future.
But... what can we... actually Actually, yes. You're right again. There is something I can do.
Perhaps a perusal of my wares would be as good a place to start as any. And what of you, Hunter? An essential task, I have little doubt. But perhaps not one to prioritize over an assessment of the town? Haste hurts progress, as they say. I believe your place should be here in Minato's greatest hour of need.
What a sad. Everything we see and touch turns to dust eventually. Objects, people, places. Minato is no different. It must have an end. Like everyone else, I've seen my fair share of ends. More than my fair share, perhaps. The village I grew up in burned to the ground overnight. The thieves who torched it, a pile of rotting corpses. Daimyo Ichido, destroyed by war, then finished by Kemono. Everyone fights it, but when the time for your end comes, nothing can save you. I learned that a long, long time ago. But even after this horrible attack, I see a flicker of hope in your eyes. I see defiance. I know someone else with eyes like yours. But I don't understand where your strength comes from.
It's true. My father always used to say, people are scary creatures, but kemono are even worse. Humans attack out of hatred or greed. They destroy property because it's in the way. Kemono don't think like that. That bird was just acting on instinct. Flying around, beating its wings, snapping its jaws, and not even needing a reason to do it. But when nature bares its fangs at us, sometimes we have to stand up to it. For our families and for our friends.
Say Amaterasu comes back. Would Minato get wiped out? Don't bother trying to be a hero. My father said the same thing to me once, only to have a samurai cut him down without a second thought. If Minato's flattened, I don't have anywhere else to go. No home, no family. No point thinking about the future. We don't even know if we have one.
We were naive. We should never have assumed he wouldn't attack us.
There is so little I can do to help. How fortune smiled upon us when she led you our way.
There you are. Seen the town? It's a wreck. Homes in tatters. People wounded everywhere. Some worse than that. Damn that kemono. This is Otsuki Castle all over again. Ripped apart. Not a soul left. Cold. Dead. I was powerless even then. All I got was an eye. One measly eye of one measly wolf. Kso. I won't let history repeat itself.
What?
What a miserable sight. The hunter's town in such disarray. Were there more like you among your ranks? Perhaps this tragedy could have been prevented. But for mere mortals, the aggressor was too strong. The Kemono grow ever more desperate. They tussle for territory. They clash for prey. Hunger now drives them to kill one another. And Minato is not the only casualty. Soon across all of Azuma, nature will be destroyed. Plants will wither. Lizards will howl. Mountains will crumble. Until finally rising waters will cover it all. But in you is the power to stop this. In you, there is the seed. For some, it is a duty. For others, destiny. And for you, you have the strength to hunt these gargantuan kemono. But do you have the will? What compels you to hunt now? The same blithe answer still. Then you will overcome this challenge with ease, no doubt. There is resolve in your words, unfaltering and true. Which leaves but one thing to say. You must value life, or all that awaits is death. Above all, survive.
Boy! Get over here! That giant bird did this, surely.
We know Amaterasu was attempting to establish territory around the old castle. That resulted in the ousted Rasetsu's failed attempt at taking the Spirit Isle. Yes, we're seeing more and more kemono leaving their usual stomping grounds. And there can only be one logical cause, of course!
Of course. Maybe this is one time we should just jump to the conclusion, Sensei?
All across Azuma, and perhaps beyond, the celestial thread that sustains kemono is drying up. That explains why Amaterasu targeted the town. Celestial thread is now in abundant supply here.
Are you trying to say...
Exactly. It's trying to absorb Minato into its territory. Reviving the Karakuri on the Spirit Isle was... cavalier.
But that was done for Minato's survival. The Hime-sama, the elders, everyone agreed it was the right thing to do. Anyway, what's done is done. Now we have to eliminate this bird before it gets too damn comfortable in our town. We need your skills here. Find out where Amaterasu is now.
No. The burden's too great for a lone hunter. And besides, rather than blindly searching, waiting here would be far more practical. We can be sure it will return. It will be eager to conclude its territorial claim.
Then we have to bolster our defenses. And fast. Can we ready the Karakuri we used against the Earthbreaker? This is akin to siege warfare, though the investment is a single foe. We need to prepare and deploy carefully. I'll take command.
Goodness, Ujishige! Such motivation and not a sake cup in sight!
Who do you think I am? I was a samurai general once. Now, I've got 100 things to do. I'll leave the karakuri with you.
Well, his military expertise will certainly be useful. But we can't ignore the overwhelming strength of our enemy. We need a secret weapon. In fact, I was just talking to Natsume about that. It's probably better if she explains herself. You should find her assessing the damage to the spirit wheel.
When we'd managed to get the wheel working again. Now it's completely mangled. What we did on the Spirit Isle was... No. It's alright. I can fix this. I've just been talking to Suzura-sensei. Do you remember what I told you before about how there used to be another tower next to the Spirit Wheel? A second giant karakuri? From what I can tell by studying that stone tablet, it was a weapon used to repel kimono. I think we can reconstruct it. Making it sound easy. Obviously, we couldn't possibly build it from scratch at this stage. But if we fix the wheel and hooked another old karakuri into its mechanism, we should be able to make it work like the other tower did. Or at least, that's the theory. The first stage is to have Rensang and her crew repair the main structure. We could really do with your help too. Would you be able to gather the materials we need for the karakuri part? It's a very old device that I can't put together with things I have lying around. It's going to take some rare materials with unusual properties. As it happens, with the kemono fighting each other for territory at the moment, their bodies seem to be undergoing changes. We might be able to get the sort of materials we need from these clashing kemono, but they're fiercer than ever. So please be extra careful. I don't want you to get hurt. Arigato. Then let's not waste any time. Is there anything I can help? I'm a karakuri working in time.